guys, it's Ricky from UTV Wolfpack. So today I'm going to be showing you guys and walking you through how to install our +3 long travel kit for the XP1000. Here's the list of tools you'll need to install our long travel kit. 15mm wrench, a 19mm wrench, and a 15/16. You'll need a ratchet, 2 impacts, either electric or air. And then the sockets you'll need is an 1 15/16 for the axle nut, a 19mm, 17mm, and a 15mm short and long socket. So this is our front long travel kit. This is the lower arm right here. It's all high clearance. It's all TIG welded. It's chromoly 4130. Inside, make it really strong. We got heims on the ends, so you can adjust your camber and caster. And then right here, we got our tie rod. It's 4130 chromoly. It's 1 inch. So the first step with putting these arms on, you want to go with the lower arm. You want to get the bolts in, head going in the front, so they face towards the back. Tighten these 2 bolts up on the lower arm. So now we're going to install the upper arm. There's 2 different sizes. You want to make sure that the thinner one is on the inside of the heim and this thicker one is on the outside. Once you get the spacers in, install the arm. Once you get the bolts through, don't forget your Loctite. Now you can go ahead and tighten these ones up. They're 15mm also. So next you're gonna install the tie rod. Remove your factory tie rod and unbolt it from the steering rack up here. It just screws in with this big Allen. It's a 12mm Allen wrench. Put some Loctite on it, tighten it down, then just grab your tie rod. You'll have this other shank bolt. Put one end in. You'll need a 19 wrench and a 5/16 Allen to tighten that bolt. Now you wanna install the axle. Just replace it back into the front diff. Once you get it slid in, then grab your knuckle, assemble it, put it in. So the 2 nuts for the ball joints is a 19. So once you get the upper and lower arm bolted onto the spindle, connect your tie rod. That upper nut for the tie rod stud, 17. So now, once you get those on, install your rotor and your hub. And you just use your same 2 flat washers and your castle nut from your axle. Always want to make sure you put this guy in. If not, the nut will back itself off. Now once you got all that, you can install your sway bar link. Whether you have the aftermarket or stock, it still works either way. Bolt it back in just the same way that they were. And once you get all that on, replace your caliper. So that's pretty much it. All that's left is the shock. So this is your shock location, lower mount. There's 2 locations for it. The first location up here is for your stock shock. And if you have a longer shock, you'd set the location right here. Now we're gonna move to the back. You're gonna wanna unbolt your stock 15mm wrench and socket. Now you're ready to install it on the car. You'll have these 2 little spacers for the uniball that's on the arm down here. Just install them, slide the arm up in place. Use a factory hardware, put it back through. Install your shock. These bolts are gonna be an 18mm as well. You wanna make sure you have your bushings, your little sleeves in there. So now put the lower bolt through the arm and the shock. Now you can tighten up both the upper and lower bolt on the shock. And once you got that on, throw your axle back in. So now you install the hub and the rotor, slide her on, and bolt the brake caliper on. These 2 bolts are gonna be the 15mm. So once you got the brake caliper on, now you can install your radius rods. So you get 2 lengths, you get a short and a long one. You wanna make sure the longer rod is on the bottom and the shorter one's on top. And also make sure that the thinner spacers on the heims are at the wheel side and then the thicker side is up at the chassis. Now once you get all that on, grab your 2 washers for your axle and the capsule nut and just replace them. You always wanna make sure you put this in. Here's our aluminum sway bar downlinks. And this is the stock one. You wanna make sure that they're about the same length and then you can adjust them. What you can do is just throw the bolts through and then spin them out. You'll be able to spin them when it's together. Just adjust it so it's about the same length as the stock one. One's a little bit shorter than the other one. So you'll have the 2 bigger ones go on the bottom. Throw your bolt through the mount on the arms. Add your washer and the Loctite. The long travel, you want to have it on the outside of the sway bar arm. Add your washers, Loctite, lock nuts, and then you can tighten them up. You want to snug up the jam nut You're gonna use a 15/16 on the jam nuts. On the sway bar flat, you'll use a 1-inch wrench to hold it to snug down your jam nuts. After you get that on, you get your shock, your axle, and the radius rods in. Now you can move on to the other side. All right, so that was a quick video of how to install our Wolfpack Long Travel Kit. I hope that helped you guys out. Super quick and easy.